What was something that like you were adamant about when you created your own music that you're like, this is something that I won't ever budge on?
I think dancing. I definitely never want to dance.
Sasha Sloan, hi, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's so nice to meet you because I haven't got to meet you before, but I've been such a big fan of your music, so I'm excited to talk about everything new coming out this fall.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's nice to meet you too.
I went to your show last November in New York at the Bowery. I loved it, and it was interesting because your show was sort of unlike anything I'd seen, in the sense that like I feel like obviously a lot of your songs like deal with, you know, a lot of personal things that people go through, but I feel like everyone was like listening and like hanging on every word, where it was like a cool mood in the crowd.
Oh, thanks.
Do you feel that when you're on tour?
No, I usually just go on stage and I'm super, super nervous the whole time, and then when I get to the last song, I start to have fun because I know it's over.
What? This is crazy to hear you say this.
And then I walk off stage and have another panic attack, and then it's over.
So that's your least favorite part of the process of creating music?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm just so naturally introverted, and I think I've spent so long in the studio that when I do go on stage, it's kind of like the thing I'm least confident in. And I'm just like, I'm not a dancer, I don't really know how to move, so it's just kind of like a lot of things that I've been figuring out, but I've been on enough tours now where I kind of know what to do. But yeah, I just get really nervous about like letting people down who came to see me.
Wow, that's interesting. But I feel like your fans that were there, in my experience being at your show, which I love, I feel like the fans that were there know you really well and know that that's like kind of your vibe. Do you feel that sometimes?
I think I've just started to own it, and then it got a lot better, which is nice.
But it's funny because, all right, I'm obsessed with your new song, Lie. I was just listening to it right before this.
God, thanks.
So good. It makes me think, I know I was talking about being back in Brooklyn, it makes me think about pre-gaming in Brooklyn with my roommates, a couple drinks in, we're blasting Lie, we're maybe gonna cry, you know, it's like feeling the emotions. How did you decide to lead with this song as the single off your new album?
Yeah, so this new album for me, it's my first one ever, and when I first started writing it, I was like, oh man, like I have to pick a lane, right? Like I love Americana music, but I also love pop music, and I also love like 90s alt music. And I was kind of experimenting with all the different genres, and I made a playlist of songs that I love, and it had like The Killers, Eva Cassidy, Green Day, a lot of Robin, and I kind of just decided to say screw it and just kind of make this weird, like, cohesive but not in the same genre album. This is a long-winded answer, but basically it's interesting because I feel like it's like a really good representation of my pop side, and I took a lot of like Robin influence with also like the Killers influence when it comes to synths, and like Robin when it came to bass and lyric and melody. So I felt like this was a great representation of a lot of the album, but there's still a lot of the rest of the album that's very different. Interesting.
Okay, I'm excited to hear the full thing. And now I want to take it back to you because you sort of coined the term, you said you're sad before it was cool, which I feel like is fitting because we're all kind of sad right now. How has this time been for you, both creatively, like in your music, and personally for you?
Yeah, so I mean, personally I'm very fortunate because I have a job that doesn't require me to work on the front lines. So in that sense, I've been relatively unaffected. I mean, yeah, Coachella got canceled, but boohoo, like in the grand scheme of things, you know, I'm totally fine. I just have to fight the boredom every day, you know, and like figuring out how to keep myself mentally healthy during this, because I had some dark days where the margaritas were popping at like 3 in the afternoon.
I feel that for sure.
But I don't know, I have a hard time writing during this just because, I don't know, I feel like it's hard to write a song about myself in a time when the world's on fire. So since all my music is so personal, I've had a hard time sitting down and actually writing about me. I think my feelings, not in a bad way, are just kind of fallen to the wayside a bit just because of the heaviness of everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been an interesting time, but you know, I'm not worried. Writer's block comes and goes, and I think this year was long overdue for change in the world, and I'm glad it's happening.
Agreed. And now I want to take it back to your history. So you started as a songwriter. You've written for the likes of Tinashe, Charlie XCX, Camila Cabello, to name a few. When did you decide to make this switch to pursue your solo career? And how did you decide?
Yeah, I think I always knew I wanted to put my own music out. And so, you know, there came a point where I wrote this song. This was the first song I ever put out, called Ready Yet. And I came out of a session with it, and I texted to my manager, and I went, hey, I really love this song, and I don't really want anyone else to sing it. And he was like, yeah, this really feels like you. And I was like, for the first time since I had been in LA writing for the people, that song I like wanted to hug and like never let go. And that's kind of when I knew, okay, I think I want to start putting music out, but I never thought it would really go anywhere. It was more of like an outlet for me. I started independently, and then obviously partnered with RCA along the way. But yeah, it happened really organically and naturally, and I kind of, by working with other artists that I had in the past, I kind of figured out who I was inadvertently. Just by seeing what I didn't want to do and who I didn't want to be, it kind of helped shape who I did want to be, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. What was something that like you were adamant about when you created your own music that you're like, this is something that I won't ever budge on?
I think dancing. I definitely never want to dance. But also, you know, like I write all my own material, and that's something that I'll never budge on. I think, you know, I'm still at a point where, you know, I'm not like a massive artist, so no one's trying to pitch me songs because my life isn't depending on it yet. But, you know, I think just staying true to who I am and writing from the heart all the time is something that I'll never budge on.
Is there a song that you've written, that you created, that you're most proud of?
I think it's on this album, actually.
Really? Can you tell us which one? Or still top secret?
It's called House of No Mirrors, and it's the second single. I wrote it with Nicole Galen, who's like the most badass chick of all time. She wrote Tequila, and she has numerous other hits.
Amazing.
She's so good, and she's like such a role model for me, and I kind of want to be her when I grow up, even though I And yeah, it's like a really emo song, and the whole concept is like, who would I be if I lived in a house with no mirrors? And it's kind of like, I think I'd be a much better version of myself if I didn't know what I looked like.
Interesting. Wow. What do you think is the secret to writing a good song, or writing a song that you love?
Oh God, I wish I knew the secret. I think it's just pulling from a personal place. The more personal it is for me, the more I feel it when I hear it back. And, you know, also finding production that elevates it. Like, I write a lot of stuff on piano or guitar, and, you know, my partner, producer, takes it to another place, which I think is a really fun part of the process that I just started getting better at this past album, which was really fun.
Nice. Okay, so the album is called Only Child, out this fall. How did you land on the name?
Well, I had Only Child as a title written down on my phone for a very long time. Because I thought it was a cool title, and then I wrote the song. There's a song called Only Child on the album with Shane McAnally, who's on Songland, and he's amazing.
I love Songland. I love Shane. It's so good.
Me too. He's the best.
It's wild to see them all riff off each other.
It's a really cool show. I think it actually does a great job at showing what the process of making a song is like. So yeah, my boyfriend and I watch that a lot. But Shane's obviously like one of the most iconic writers of all time. And so I brought in that title, and we wrote a really cool song around it. And then it just felt like the title. I mean, I am an only child. I think a lot of who I am and like why I am the way I am is because I am an only child. So it felt right.
Are there any collabs on the album we can look forward to?
Not on the album. Album's just me, but after the album, yes.
Ooh,
yes.
can you give us any hints on it?
It's a guy.
Okay. All right, we'll take it. One narrows it down slightly. Okay, so last question for you before I let you go is, for someone who maybe hasn't heard your music before, how would you describe it to them? Specifically thinking about this new Only Child album.
I think I would say it's Robin. This is like me tooting my own horn sometimes, because it might actually suck, but
No way.
influence-wise, it's like Robin meets Casey Musgraves, meets The Killers, meets Eva Cassidy. And then I think, you know, I've just been saying like my handle on socials, Sad Girl Sloan, but I think this album is like Sad Woman Sloan. It's like the pure version of me, kind of sad girl, grown up a little bit. Not as dark. There's a lot more hope.
Really?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. Not super cynical anymore. It's like there's
just a touch of it.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, but speaking, I would love to see a Sasha Sloan Casey Musgraves collab.
Oh my god.
That
so
would
bad.
be sick.
She is so sick. I mean, obviously.
Who else would you like love to collab with in the future?
I feel stupid saying the collabs that I want because they're just so good. I mean, Taylor Swift would obviously be amazing. She's such a role model to me in the terms of the way she runs business alone. I mean, she's a genius. I mean, I feel like a lot of people that I want to collab are passed away. Like Amy Winehouse would be crazy. I don't know. I don't really. I feel weird talking about who I want to collab with, just because I'm like, God, if they ever hear this, they're gonna be like, who is that?
Okay, that's not true. They'll be so excited. Sasha Sloan, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for Only Child. Can't wait. Do we have an official date yet, or it's just fall?
It's just fall.
Okay, so still
Sorry,
TBD.
That's my management's fault.
Hey, that's okay. All right, this fall, this October potentially. So excited for you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here. And don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. Bye guys.